This content is provided by the Buddhist-led Association of Australia. Today, we are going to talk about something very interesting. It comes from Zen Master Zhang Fang Minben's Instructions of the Illusionary Abode, Huanzhu Family. This classic is actually asking a cool question. If everything we see is merely an illusion, then where exactly can true freedom be found? Right at the beginning of the book, it throws out a sentence that is so vivid, it pulls us straight into the heart of the theme, which is this single word, illusion. This illusion isn't just some obscure philosophical concept. It fundamentally challenges our view of what is real. So, saying everything is an illusion, what does that actually mean? Does it mean the tables, the chairs, you, and I simply don't exist? It's not quite like that. It's more like saying these things aren't as fixed or substantial as we perceive them to be. The Zen master explains that because reality is an illusion, it is actually elastic and changeable. Take a fly whisk for example. We can choose to hold it vertically or place it horizontally. Don't underestimate this choice. This flexibility is the very key to our path to freedom. However, talking about this might make people feel a bit conflicted. If reality is so elastic and flexible, why do we often feel stuck in life? We hit walls everywhere and feel like we can't move at all. We aren't the only ones with this doubt. The master's students at the time asked the exact same question. They were confused, wondering why they kept encountering nothing but trouble and frustration. The answer is actually very simple. The key lies in whether we choose to stroke the fur the right way, or insist on going against the grain. In other words, are we adapting to the inherent rules of things, or are we insisting on forcing our own ideas upon them? It's just like following the current, of course. It is smooth sailing. But if you insist on going upstream, of course it feels difficult. Furthermore, there is a classic metaphor for this: forcing a horizontal log into a vertical stove. Think about where our suffering comes from. Many times, it's exactly like trying to jam a horizontal piece of wood into a vertical stove opening. Is it possible for that to fit? Of course not, and that's where the problem lies. We are often very stubborn, insisting on doing things my way, or according to my ideas. Even if the method doesn't fit reality at all, we still force it. This is the root of all our pain and struggle. Then we get stuck in a ridiculous cycle, persist in your own opinion, hit the wall as expected, start getting angry at the wall and blaming everything else. And the most absurd part, we actually feel proud of how hard and tragically we hit the wall, thinking we are working so hard. But we never realize that the solution is incredibly simple. Just turn the wood the other way, and you're in. So here's the next question. Since we know this is self-inflicted suffering, why are we still so attached? Why are people so stubborn? To explain this, the Zen master brings out the next crucial concept: universal attachment to imagined realities. Paracopides Vapor or BNGC. It sounds complicated, but simply put, it's a deeply rooted bad habit in our minds. This habit makes it so that we don't see the world as it truly is, but rather as we think it should be, based on the labels and definitions we've already pre-assigned to things. Let's use an example to make it easier to understand. Suppose a very neutral event happens. A person parks a car. That's it, a simple action. But now, if you are wearing a pair of angry glasses, what do you see? You might immediately interpret it as, look, he's hitting the car. This is animal abuse. This conclusion becomes your fact. Now, change the glasses. If you wear a compassionate filter, that same action might make you think, wow, he is so gentle, stroking the car. Such a heartwarming shame. This also becomes your fact. But there might be a third possibility. From a more pragmatic perspective, the truth might be that he's just trying to swat a fly off the car's back. This points to the core of the issue. We often fight truth and nail over the facts we see, but it turns out those aren't the complete facts at all. This is why the Zen master says something very heavy. Do not trust your own mind. Your mind cannot be trusted. This means don't easily believe your own thoughts, because they are often unreliable. Why? Because every one of us wears a unique pair of color glasses, forged from our past experiences, emotions, and biases. We argue about whether the world is red or blue, without realizing the problem is with our own lenses. When you realize this, congratulations, that is the first step out of the trap. Next, the instructions of the Illusionary Abode tells us what exactly we should do to break free from this self-bondage and experience true freedom. You might think, Oh, they're just thoughts. Is it really that serious? It actually is. These biases are like a film covering our eyes, preventing us from seeing the truth. Then, we make wrong judgments, get into conflicts with others, and bind ourselves in the stories we've made up. This is what is called the fetter of birth and death. More importantly, every negative judgment we make today is actually planting seeds of suffering for our own future. So what should we do? The suggestion here is very practical and powerful. Since we know we project things unconsciously, why not turn it around and consciously project good things? Instead of cursing others, why not bless them? Instead of envying others' success, why not praise them? By doing this, you are actually creating a more beautiful reality for your own future. Let us summarize. This entire path to freedom can be broken down into 4 steps. First, see clearly that everything is an illusion. It is fluid, not dead. Second, understand that you are wearing colored glasses and admit your own biases. Third, learn to follow the rules. Stop trying to force the horizontal wood into the vertical stone. Fourth, consciously create goodness. This is a complete SOP standard operating procedure to help us live more wisely and with less friction against the world. So you see, this wisdom from hundreds of years ago is still incredibly practical today. It's not just philosophy, it's a kind of kung fu we can practice every day. So, I'll leave everyone with a final question to think about. The point is never whether you are wearing glasses, because the answer is that we all are. The real question is, what color are the glasses you are wearing today? And are you even aware of their existence?